Obviously, he had a good year as a freshman, coming in, starting in a big game against Ohio State. Didn't do as well as he wanted to, but he still played good enough to, with an 18, 19-year-old kid playing in one of the biggest games of his life. It just makes you wonder, because he is a Louisiana kid. He's probably going to go back to Louisiana and go get coached by Kiffin, and that's the heartbreak of all of it for Michigan faithful, Michigan people, because they didn't want this. Like you said, your friend, he's upset, he's aggravated. I talked to a Michigan fan earlier today, and, I was like, how's everybody feeling? He was like, nobody's talking. Everybody's upset. Nobody's wanting to get in, they don't want to get into it because they're so frustrated. And, we talk about the national champions, and we talk about how, Jeff, like for example, he would always talk about how LSU, they had Les Miles, he won one. Yeah. They had Orgeron, he won one. They had Coach Saban, he won one. And there's no longevity, and they're okay with that. Well, Michigan is not okay with that. They want to be in the conversation every single year. Yeah. Now you add this type of program out there, and obviously we're going to talk about it more about the coaching after the break, but we're still good for now. But when you look at the way it's set up, Michigan wanted to be in contention for the national title, in contention for the Big Ten championship, year in, year out. They felt like Jim Harbaugh got them to that place, whether people agree with the whole cheating thing or not. Yeah. And they wanted to just continuously be the team that rivals Ohio State.
And they were for quite some time.
And they had beaten Ohio State for 4 years straight until this year. And that seemingly was going to be their way. And then now you get this. So when you talk about a program so big and so legendary, I would call Michigan a legendary because of Schembeck, or what was it?
Top 5 program in my opinion, pretty easily, as far as a place where a coach would want to go coach, backbone of college football.
Even though Sharon Moore is not a well-known person in the coaching, and that was to me that kind of was the deal whenever we were putting all the teams in the top 25 of saying top 25 of coaching jobs available. Yes. When you look at Billy Napier and Florida, well, Billy Napier's not a high, now he just signed with JMU, but he's not a big-time hire, but neither was Sharon Moore, but both of them were at huge programs that had legendary coaches, but also had won national championships.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what you're talking about.
I just thought that, they thought, whether Jim Harbaugh and the athletic director thought Sharon Moore was a good fit, and they weren't paying him, top coaching dollars. So they were able to have some more NIL money and some more wiggle room without having to pay him, like $10 million excess, being a first-time head coach. So
yeah. That's really the deal. But we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss who we think is going to be the next coach of the Michigan Wolverines. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here on 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 Studio Line.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
I don't like seeing people get fired. And the Florida fans are worse than ever, because not only they asked for the coach's job before he even finished half the season out, now they want Strickland. They want heads to roll. I don't enjoy this. I don't like this, and it's bad, and it's toxic, and you don't look good when you're doing it.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Thursday's weather. The rest of the day, there will be a light breeze out of the north-northwest. Clear skies and 58. Clear skies tonight, a bit colder at 49. Tomorrow, sunny and a light breeze right around 6 miles per hour with a high of 70. About the same at 69 Saturday, we'll have some sun. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
Are you ready? The Jaguars are back at home for the second straight week. Join us at Everbank Stadium Sunday, December 14th when your Jags take on the New York Jets in our Inspire Change game, celebrating social justice and community impact. Kickoff is at 1 p.m., so bring the energy, bring the noise, and be part of something bigger than the game. Don't wait. Lock in your seats now at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. The phone lines are open, the opinions are flowing, and the arguments are just getting started.
You cannot give LSU extra opportunities. With just one loss, they can sneak in there. They're playing championship football.
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson is back, and we're putting you in the game.
He has not turned the ball over.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your go-to for everything sports-related in the Panhandle. We're so glad to have you here with us. We are finally back. We had little technical difficulties, and Bone Crusher fixed it, and we are good to go.
I also broke it.
So we weren't going to tell them anything of that. We were going to just make you be the hero.
I made a mistake, so I'm going to take responsibility on that. I'm going to own it.
That's right. That's right. And he approves this message. So either way, Thursday night football tonight, Atlanta, who's not making the playoffs, Bone Crusher, at Tampa Bay, 6:30.
Plain spoiler.
And kickoff's at 7:15. Either way, you want to be a part of the show, you can be 850-215-6290. I got Tennessee Brandon in the house. We are ready to go. We've been talking about Michigan. We know that a lot of people could not hear what we were saying, so we're going to touch base a little bit more about it. So realistically, Sharon Moore has caused a big problem for the Michigan Wolverines, not only the fan base, but also the players and the organization. I call it an organization because there's so many facets that run these college football programs, and it hurts the university. It does. Obviously, he's a human being. He can make mistakes and all of that, but the people that are going to be hurt by this is a huge amount of people. And, I understand. I mean, because if it was my team, if it was something, I would be very devastated. I would be upset. I would be aggravated because you know how it goes with all of this. There could be an investigation done by the NCAA. And then now, not only are they already on some type of probation, it could mess up for years to come with scholarships, with their ability to pay, with fines and records, and that's just the part for the university, but we're not even talking about the kids, the wife, all of those things, and that everybody that was involved. And, we always talk about the person that is in the limelight of it, but the female had a part to play in it as well, and she's probably going to lose her job, I would say.
I would think so, yeah.
I mean, she knew he was married. She knew that was his wife and kids. So obviously, being the staffer,
and it looked like the wife come around the program. I've seen some photos of her in the field, and the kids were around. I mean, it looked like a beautiful family. I mean, the guy had a $40 million contract, a wife and 3 kids working for one of the top programs in the country. I mean, the man literally had it all and squandered it all away with some poor decisions. We all make poor decisions. I do understand that. But like you said, these head coaches are in the limelight.
Yeah.
When you accept this job, there's no mistake about it. You are a public figure. You are, and then as the football coach, you are the face of that university.
Yeah.
They're going to recognize your face before they're going to recognize the president of the school or the AD of the school. You are the face of that school. So when you diminish the reputation of a school and with your poor actions, they do have to do something about it, which ultimately led to him losing his job. losing his mind a little bit and admitted himself into the county jail.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that someone said that it was in the mental institution side of it.
Yeah, I think that's what I read. I think that they, have, because of, the threat of, suicide and the threat of somebody else's life, I think they had to put, a priority on his safety and put him in isolation with everything that was going on.
Yeah, there's an old saying, and I believe it's a Bible scripture, much is given, much is required. So there you go.
Yeah.
When you look at it, I don't think, you brought up a good point, because I don't believe that I know hardly any presidents' names of any college, but I can name off several head coaches.
Exactly.
And so they are definitely, whether their jobs are prestige or not, they still are more known, especially in this social media world that we live in. Do you know the president of the University of Tennessee?
No, I do not.
What?
But
my gosh.
I can tell you who our athletic director is.
Okay, that's close.
So it's like, I don't know our chancellor. I don't know the president. And in all honesty, I didn't go to school there. I went to University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, so I went to the little...
And you probably don't know that
it might have changed once or twice. Who knows? I didn't get full into the administration and, the student body president or anything like that. I just made sure I graduated with honors and moved on.
There you go. Honors. Honors is the key word. Bone Crusher, you're a big Georgia fan. You do not know the president of the University of Georgia.
Is it Vince Dooley?
I don't think so. And just so everybody knows, I don't know Alabama's either. So there you go. We're all in the same boat, and I guarantee you, Jeffrey doesn't know his either.
He doesn't know LSU.
No, he does not. He doesn't even know who his new coach is, I bet. Not even yet. But either way. So that's going to bring up the next question. We did a Facebook post today, and really it was just to see who everybody thought was going to be the next coach. We just threw some names out there. I did want to read some of these because I thought it was pretty unique, some of the things that people had said. One person said that she believes that it's going to be DeBoer. She didn't spell it that way, but she spelled it in a way purposely because she's an Auburn. Yeah, she's a Auburn fan. So Rhonda Lynn said that the wife is miserable in Tuscaloosa. She's spending more time in Washington with their college daughter than at home. I think he's gone from Gumpville.
Tell us more about that, Paul. I've heard myself, I watch a bunch of sports podcasts and read some stuff, and I have heard since day one he has not been happy. Tell me this. Y'all went, 8-4 last year?
Yeah.
4 losses, and then unless y'all win it all, you're going to have 4 losses again this year.
Right.
That's 8 losses in 2 years in the University of Alabama.
Yeah.
I think that's more than Saban had in 7 years.
Well, the first year he was, if you take away the first year, it's like average 1.2 every year. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's really bad.
You understand what I'm saying is that, yes, he's brought y'all to the playoffs, but, he's still going to feel heat when he gets that 4th loss, and he has 8 in 2 years, and they lost in the first round, and like I said, I'm not saying that is the case, but it is potential writing on the wall, and with him being unhappy with the supplemental amount of pressure that it comes, especially taking a job after the greatest football coach in the history of football, I'm sure there's an added amount of pressure to that as well. And just some high expectations. So it is going to be interesting to see because his name is being thrown around a lot. And if he isn't happy and if the pressure surmounts, then who's to say that, because I think his buyout, if the school let him go, it's like $70 million. However, his is $7 million if he decides he wants to go.
Right.
Big difference.
Well, the thing is, too, about Kalen DeBoer is when you still have Coach Saban in the building, they still let him have an office there. And it can't never be yours. It can be, but it can't be because he's still there. He's still alive. He's still a part of the program. He still sees recruits. He still is on College game day every single week. He comes to your games just about every single day or every single week, and you watch him and you see him. He's there. He's looking. And it takes a very special person to be egoless in that situation, because we've talked about to be a a high-level coach in college football with a high-level team, you have to have somewhat of an ego. And these guys don't want somebody looking over their shoulder. They don't want to have to look behind them to see whether or not daddy's watching. So, that's one of the things that is very, really crazy. We do have a caller in. We're going to go to the phone lines right now. We got Eddie on the phone line. You there, Eddie?
Go Blue Trucks right there. We're on 26 back hill. So I turn on, and the front page news is still Michigan,
Yeah, it is.
Michigan is a cesspool.
Uh-oh.
All I have to say is everything I was raised on and brought up on has been a load of crap. They've been covering up stuff. I can't defend them anymore.
Wow.
I mean, you can say what you want about the cheating and all that. Everyone steals signals and all that. That's low hanging fruit compared to what's going on right now. And the fact of the matter is, I honestly, and people know me in this town, that if I would have known something, I would have said it. I did not know about Sharon Moore and his affair and all that till yesterday when the story broke. But now it's coming out that people knew about all the stuff that was going on for months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that as well for a few weeks. And Michigan, what do you do? I mean, this is your school. What do you do? Do you clean house? You fire AD, every staff? How do you fix this?
Okay. I want the AD job at Michigan. I do. I will go up there and clean it up. They need a true Michigan man that actually adheres to the Michigan man's values of integrity, not this covering up bull crap that's been going on for years. You clean house from Ward Manuel on down. You just clean it up. Because ever since Manuel has been AD, it's been one thing after another, and not in a good light. One thing, you have volleyball, you have hockey, you got football, you got the basketball, Juwan Howard and all that mess, know, and all that. I mean, it's ludicrous. And I can't defend them anymore. I'm done. I'm done with them. My last professional thing on my bucket list was to get my degree from the University of Michigan, and I got it in 2016. I want to burn that diploma right now because it's not worth crap to me anymore. Because all of us Michigan fans and alumni and all that, we've been lied to and sold, sold a pot of goods or whatever that saying is.
Yeah. Wow. For you to say that to me, because I've heard you before talk, and we've had you on the show before, and for you to say that to me is just like, it's mind-blowing, but I understand. It makes so much sense. All of the things that you've just said is like what everybody's thinking, like there's no way to cover this up. It's too far gone. And for them to know about some of this stuff before, because he acting out last night was after all the stuff had already been happened. Everybody knew about it already.
So he supposedly, I guess it came out publicly at 4:13 local time or Eastern time, whatever, at 4 whatever. All right, let's use 4 o'clock as a reference point, Central Standard or Eastern time or whatever. 4:46 or whatever. He's getting arrested because he went to his mistress's house on Ann Arbor Saline Road with a knife, saying he's going to kill her and then kill himself. Right?
Yeah.
And then next he's in the Washtenaw Clink. Yep. Or Saline, then transfer over to Pittsfield Charter Township, and now he's in Washtenaw County Jail. And here's the thing, Michigan's been covering up crap here. Do your research on why Coach Moeller actually got drunk that night in Birmingham. Not Birmingham, Alabama, but Birmingham, Michigan. Do your research on why he actually went and got drunk and got in that fight at that bar. And you'll find out a certain coach was having an affair with his wife.
Wow.
Who then turned out to be an SEC national championship coach. Mm. And if you know Michigan football and the SEC championship coach, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Yep. Go do your research on that. And that coach, that national championship coach, he went on to another school and got in a scandal and got fired.
Yep.
In the Big 12. And we all know who I'm talking about. Do your research on that. Michigan covered that up and blamed Moeller. I'll tell you one thing. If someone was having affair with my wife, I would have gone nuts too. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And Coach Moeller was a dang good coach.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Coach Moeller. He should have got the Lions gig, and maybe the Lions wouldn't have stunk for so long. Anyway, but it's just, and in Michigan are so honestly, when I joined the Air Force and all that, the people I couldn't stand the most were actually Michigan Wolverine fans or alumni, because they think they're all high and mighty and stuck up, white collar, all that, and they would make fun of Michigan State, Ohio State. And I'm not just saying how Buckeye boys and I we go back and we have our banner, friendly banner, whatever. They actually think it, but I'm sick of the Big Ten, Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan. Everything that comes out of the Midwest is nothing but cesspool scandal after scandal. Well, it's Ohio State and their doctors, Michigan State and Nassar. Michigan have, in addition to the athletic scandals, their doctor scandals, right?
Yep.
And then you have the Northwestern hazing going on. I mean, honestly, you don't really hear nothing like that at SEC except go to Tuscaloosa, you get a new crimson and white car. That's about basically all you hear about that. But when it comes out of the Big Ten, it's like heavy duty, life changing stuff that actually matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, it's terrible, and it makes me sick to my stomach. And honestly, any college that wants to join the Big Ten, they're only doing it for the almighty dollar, because the Big Ten is going down like the Titanic. It's a sinking ship with all the scandal after scandal going on.
Yeah, well, I can't disagree with you on most of everything you're saying, my friend, and I sure hate it because I know that you love, the blue. I know you love Big Blue, and
actually, hold on. I got to correct many people on this. Big Blue is Kentucky.
I know. I was trying to wait.
Hey, can I tell you a story? So Eddie was playing in a baseball tournament up in Hoover, and someone said, that go Big Blue. I go, well, that's Kentucky, dude. And then he was like, well, I lived in Ann Arbor for 5 years. No, that's Michigan. I go, no, dude, I grew up in Michigan. I'm a Michigan grad, bro. It's just go blue.
Go blue.
Big Blue is Kentucky.
That's
like,
correct.
No, you're and then he was all uppity up too, like typical uppity up Michigan guy. And I'm like, whatever, man, get out of my face. And then I left. But I'm just like, it's just, whoever is the next coach, there could be sanctions. They're gonna have a lot of. They're gonna have to clean house. And,
yeah, they
and
will.
Who would? And it might be Michigan, but it's not Michigan that it used to be. And I don't know who would want to take over that mess, man. I really don't.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
But I'll tell you, Michigan, if everyone's listening, I'll be your AD and I'll clean it up. I'll clean it up.
All right, well, we'll call them. As soon as they call us, we'll give them your number, and we'll get you hooked up, Eddie. We appreciate the call, my man. And, again, I understand you're upset about that, because I surely would be.
It makes me sick to my stomach, and I meant every word I said. I want to burn my diploma right now.
Well, don't do that. Let's walk.
I got another one from the Air Force Academy, so I'm good. I got my Air Force Academy diploma, so I'm good there. But that other one, by the way, the president that signed my diploma, he's a moron too. Schlissel, he was a piece of work, one of the worst presidents ever. Anyway, you guys take care, man.
All right,
have a
buddy.
blessed day.
You too,
Go
man.
Blue.
Thank you.
See ya.
So Eddie, with the scandals been happening for years. From what I heard, and I obviously with what's unfolded, you'll never know how true this is, but Eddie says that people have known about this for weeks, maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
So rumor was that after the USC game that they lost, that they thought about letting him go, because they knew what they may be getting into. And if they let him go after that, it was performance-based, kind of sweep it under the rug. Michigan kind of still stays strong with the integrity and all that. But what did he do after the USC? He kept winning. He beat Washington, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, and it got to the Ohio State game and they lost. But, when they say winning cures all, they thought about not doing it.
Yeah.
Until it got to the point where they couldn't anymore. So, I feel like they were going to try to hide it even more so than they have hidden other things in the past. But he ended up winning and they ended up keeping him, and they maybe were hoping that it wasn't as bad as they thought, and it ended up being probably worse than what they had thought.
You cannot know about something like that and try to cover it up because you're winning football games. Because if you do, this is exactly what you're going to get. That's exactly what happened. And you know what? He's right. I don't have any dog hunting for that. I don't have any skin in the game for Michigan Wolverines at all. But I will say this. They need to clean house. And yesterday we talked about it. We talked about how that it seems like the Harbaugh needs to be cleansed out of the place.
How far do you go?
And I'm not just blaming it on him, but I'm saying it's come to fruition with his people. All of the people that stayed, all of the people that, we're Michigan men, we're this, we're that, we're this, we're that. And all for the purpose. Now, this is going to get crazy because I know that there's been scandals or there's been all of the things that's ever happened at Alabama or at Georgia or at all these places that said that, they used to pay players, and I'm sure they did or whatever. But all for the sake of winning football games.
Football games, yeah.
Just to win football games. And to be back on the top of the mountain, to be back on the top, where everybody looks to you, where you can stand up and bump your chest and say, we're champions. Hold the trophy. See the glitter fall. See the confetti fall. Have the name on your shirt say champions. But always have that asterisk in the back of your mind knowing that how you got it was definitely not what everybody saw.
Yeah,
that's what's crazy.
Nobody gives them credit for that, and it will. Whether it's officially has an asterisk, I know they don't put an asterisk on it, but the entirety of the rest of the country puts an asterisk on it. So.
Yeah, and everybody that spoke against it, because when you listen to Eddie talk about it, he's hurt because he said, there's no covering this one up.
No.
The other ones, you could say, whatever, people steal signs and all that, and scallions,
part of
if
the
he
game,
did it.
all
that kind of stuff.
But this is like a different moral code.
Yeah, this is something that's totally different. And the fact that the Michigan administration knew before all of it actually happened and covered it up because they were winning football games is disgusting.
It is disgusting. And like I said, how far do you go? Obviously the coach, obviously I think the athletic director who vouched for him to stay there, I think that he needs to go. And how does it go up to the administration past the athletic director? How far does this go? Because it sounds like from what Eddie says and from the history that this has been a continual problem, not just last couple of years, last 10, 20, maybe even longer.
Yeah, he's talked about more and more stuff that's been covered up by the university that we didn't even know about. Exactly. I didn't know any of that.
Not even a Michigan fan knew about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, if even their own fans aren't in tune with what's going on, then, who knows what else is being covered up or has been covered up.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the talk, but we're going to talk about who's going to be the next coach of the Michigan Wolverines. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the 126th Army versus Navy game, live from Baltimore, Maryland.
He might be in. Touchdown.
Navy is the current favorite and holds a 9-2 season record to Army's 6-5. Listen live starting Saturday at 1, kickoff at 2 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Lobs one wide open touchdown.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
360-degree protection of your home, 365 days a year, one low monthly price.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control offers an affordable program that provides our customers with peace of mind. Brock 365.
We like bundling pest control with termite protection for a low monthly payment. We couldn't be happier with the results. Most treatments are done outside, and we haven't had any issues in over 3 years.
Call us today for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control.
The Gator Boys are back.
Florida will cut down the nets. Winners of the national championship.
And ready to defend their national title.
To the rack. Layup good and wide. Up for the rim. Alley-oop dunk. Smashed down by Condon. Oh, yes, sir. Gets the foul line extended. Rises for three. Bang, he got it. To the rack. Dumps it with two hands.
On your home for Florida basketball.
Catch select Florida Gator basketball games on 104.3 ESPN.
Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz. 100% live and local from the CBC Construction Studios. Your put-downs, smack-downs, and shutdowns.
That's the difference between a winning football team and a losing football team.
It's a Trash Talk Thursday on the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We are back live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you joined us today. You can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. You know, we've been talking about this Michigan job, and there's a lot of people that are talking about it. And I do want to go back to talking about Kalen DeBoer a little bit. And I will tell you that all of the people that I talk to, a lot of the people anyway, believe that his time in Tuscaloosa is not going to be very long. It is almost assumed that he's just not a good fit. It's not necessarily that it's after the whole deal with having Saban there, but it's more about fit. It's more about square hole circle, not fitting right. And that's the biggest problem that I think that we have. You know, one of the Red 70s, one of the Facebook coach says DeBoer fits the UM system the most. Plus, I don't care what anyone says. There will unfortunately always be a bar that coaches will have to live up to at Bama due to the reputation of Nick Saban. Even though DeBoer's record in his first 2 years is very close to Saban, DeBoer was a winner before coming to Bama. He still would fare better in a Big Ten program. And see, that's a fitment thing. People in the Alabama spectrum believe that, and thank you for that, Josh Harley, by the way. People in the Alabama sphere of spectrum, for the most part, they believe that he fits better into a more Big Ten or Big 12, not the SEC. And these past few games has been the representation of why they feel like that, because they've abandoned the run game. It's because they don't run the ball very well. And what has the SEC always been known for? Not that Michigan doesn't run the football, but it's always been known that the SEC is you have to run the football. Even
smash mouth football.
Yeah, even Kirby Smart said that now that we go into the playoff time, you've got to be able to run the football because you're going to be up by 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 points, and you need to extend drives by running the football and running the clock down, because as that ball is being ran, the clock continues to run. And so even Kirby's talking about that. And so people know football because they watch a lot of it. You know, I know sometimes that we think that people don't know football, and they may not know the technical terms for, you know, when you're in cover, when you cover 2 man, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But they know when you hand the ball off, that's a run. And when you throw the ball, that's a pass.
Yeah.
And so realistically, they don't think Alabama runs the football enough, and that they don't believe that Alabama's offense looks like an Alabama SEC offense.
I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, look at your notable running backs over the last 10 years. I mean, before halfway through the season, I couldn't have told you who your running back was. But prior to that, I mean, Ingram and Henry and Yeldon, I mean, that you had some absolute terrors back there. I mean, Nick Saban made a point to run the ball. You know, it's just been a part of the SEC. You know, you run the ball first, you control the game, and that's how you control the game. As you said, I mean, you can be up anywhere from 2 to 10 points, and leads diminish so quickly in today's game with how quickly people can score. But if you want to hold and maintain your lead, you have to be able to control the game, to control the clock, get a couple extra first downs. You have to be able to run the ball, because on 3rd and 2, you shouldn't be throwing the ball 10, 20 yards deep every time. If you're not able to run the ball and get a couple of yards, you don't deserve to win the game, in my opinion, anyway. It's a game of who wants it more sometimes. And, I do believe that Kalen DeBoer has got to put the guys in position to be able to go out and do that. And it just seems like over the last few games, you talking about those examples that they have abandoned the run just a little bit, and they've, put a lot on, the young quarterback and things like that. So, I don't know if he is the fit there either. I don't see him being there very long.
It just seems like every time we've had trouble or every time we've had a loss, that everybody's like, you know what, this guy, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
and I don't know,
he can't do good enough. And obviously it's Nick Saban.
It's a Nick
part
Saban
of that
effect. I think it's a lot of that. I mean, the last 10, 15 years, it has been, 2 losses and make it in, or 1 loss, or hell, an undefeated season with Nick Saban. So to have, to go, 16 and, not necessarily counting that loss, but I mean, to have 8 losses potentially in 2 years, that is something that, the university and the fan base just haven't seen.
And are not used to it.
Not used to it.
And so we have to blame somebody.
Especially the, I would say, like, my age and younger.
Yes.
Because, like, that's all they've grown up. They've grown up as winners. And like I said in the past, spoiled at times because they don't know the Mikes and the days of Alabama being at the bottom of the totem pole. They have no respect for where they have come from, and they assume entitlement is how that goes. But Alabama has quickly made it to the forefront where they are one of those programs who do not have the patience. And if you come in and you do not perform, you will quickly become on the hot seat.
And you got to think, too, he's recruiting well because he's number 2. We're number 2 right now in recruiting. So behind USC is the only people that we're behind on this year's signing class already. So, I mean, he's bringing in the stars, and he's bringing in the guys that can play. And again, it's not just take the first 100. You got to take people that fit your system. But I do think that, I know Auburn is very happy with their hire that they've got coming in with Alex Golish. But I will tell you this, and people have talked about it, and I'm not sure if there's been a statement about it from Kalen DeBoer yet or not. But if Golish starts beating DeBoer, look out. That's going to be the big one.
Oh, because you can't lose to Auburn if you're the head coach of Alabama.
And the thing is that Nick Saban, every once in a while, he would lose to Auburn, but it didn't matter because we were turning those into championships.
Exactly.
But if we lose a game or 2 and miss the playoff, or lose 1 or 2 games and then lose to Auburn, and that causes us to miss the playoffs, or like that, look out, because it's going to be very hot.
Well, you know who's at Auburn right now, right? Obviously, Alex Golish. You know where he come from.
Yep.
Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
He was the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Banks was the defensive coordinator. So you're facing 2 Tennessee offensive and defensive coordinators from from like the Hendon Hooker days when, the 52-49 game. Like that's who you have. Now, after reading and doing some stuff with Tim Banks, I didn't. He had the outlier year, our playoff year. It was, I think we were like 9th in the country. But if you look at all his other years, they weren't spectacular. I would have done anything to have that playoff year for the defense, but I don't think he was cutting it. Heupel went ahead and moved on. We got, Jim Knowles, and I think that is a awesome hire historically, but Alabama can't be losing to Auburn. That is a sure way to find yourself on the hot seat, because if he loses to him, he's not Nick Saban. He doesn't have the grace that Nick Saban has had. That'd be something that gets him out the door pretty quick.
Quickly. We've got Facebook page. I don't know if anybody's seen it, or I know a lot of people have already. You can go on there and you can vote, on who it is. So right now, as we sit, we've got Kalen DeBoer in the lead right now.
Ooh.
And he's ahead of Jesse Minter, which Jesse Minter is the former defensive coordinator, and now he's a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
Yeah, he followed Harbaugh from Michigan To LA, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
to the Chargers. Yeah. So he's their defensive coordinator, done a good job. Brian Kelly's on the list. We put him on the list. And John Gruden is on the list. So, and there again, if you have a write-in person that you want to write in, you can do that. We'll announce it on the air at the top of the hour. But as of right now, Kalen DeBoer is in first place. Jesse Minter is in second. Brian Kelly's not getting any votes yet. Even John Gruden's got some votes, but Brian Kelly has not. To me, I would be sitting here saying, you know what? I get what he's done at LSU, which wasn't very much, but I just think his style of coaching, he's been successful at Notre Dame.
He was.
And he played against Big Ten teams. He's played against ACC teams.
He recruited well in the Big Ten.
He recruits really good. Cincinnati, he was at Cincinnati. He did really good there. He recruited up there. I think he's a Midwest guy. I just think Brian Kelly, to me, obviously, I think Jesse Minter is the guy that they go after because he's a Michigan man, but he's the Harbaugh.
Yeah, I don't know how you bring a guy in who was completely involved in a scandal that left with the head coach to avoid any repercussions, and you're trying to clean house, so you bring a guy in that's related to a prior scandal. So, I don't see how that makes any sense, and that's not going to make the Michigan faithful any more interested and, believe in the university. I mean, they may like the name because it's familiar.
Yeah.
But he brings past problems back to the university.
It looks like, though, that nobody from the top of the organization right now is going to lose their job. So everybody that was involved in covering that up in the beginning is still going to be there. Yeah. So what better way to cover it up is to bring a guy back into it? But I don't know. I don't really know. But to me personally, if I was a Michigan fan, I would be asking for Brian Kelly. I think he's known how to coach football, and I think if he's not the guy, at least he's not a drop-off guy, because I believe without a doubt in my mind, if you don't want to see Michigan hit the bottom, you better get a big splash hire right here.
Yeah.
Because you will see that transfer portal open, and when it opens, it's going to have a double doors because all the people are going to leave if you bring in some guy that's not proven that he can win football games and get people to the pros.
Well, I think Dave Portnoy, he's the owner of Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
He's one of the biggest known Michigan fans. He makes that quite known. He come up with his short list, Gruden being at the top of it.
Wow.
So talking about big names, I think this list is full of big names, and I think that is what the Michigan people are wanting to go after. I think they're on the same page as you are, that you've got to make a big splash.
Got to.
Because nobody's going to come to play for the University of Michigan for a no-name.
No.
That's just, as good and as pronounced as your university is. I think you're going to have to hit a big hire. He's got Nick Saban on here, Dan Landing, Jeff Monken, Clark Lee, Ken Dillingham, and Deion Sanders. So all big names.
Well, we're going to stop it right here. We will be back at the top of the hour. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
This is Touchstone service. The Red 70s studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
I don't have any problem with Miami getting in. I have a problem with Miami getting in that they were ranked behind Notre Dame. And if you want to put them in front of Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago, I don't have any problem with that. It just looks weird. It doesn't pass the eye test here.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Clear tonight with a wind at 3 miles per hour coming out of the south and a low of 46. Tomorrow morning, look for a light breeze and sunshine with a temperature near 69. The afternoon and evening, a high around 70 and clear skies. Saturday, very warm with a high of 70 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
All residential and commercial projects from start to finish, Wheelhouse is ready to help. From the moment you have the thought to build to the moment you step through the front door of your finished project, Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering will walk you through all of your aspirations. Engineering, site plans, live architectural design, construction, 3D rendering, permits, and more. Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering, 850-896-6597. That's 850-896-6597. And online at wheelhousedba.com.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the new Sports Blitz. Call in with your questions, hot takes, and rants at 850-215-6290. The Sports Talk Monster.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Time it is. It's 5 o'clock. And you're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We got one more day, baby, before Friday and the weekend, and we're excited about it. Don't forget tonight, Thursday night football, the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coverage starts at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:15 right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Also, don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. Tell us who you think should be the head football coach at the University of Michigan. The big, blue, not Big Blue.
Don't make that mistake.
Blue. Team up north. How about that?
Either way, they
don't love that. But either way, we talked about it, and a lot of people have shared. We do have someone that they commented on Facebook. Nolan Shadler said Scott Satterfield. So I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Either way, you got all of these people, and before the break, you were talking about Dave Portnoy. He is a big-time pusher for Michigan football, and I don't know if he's got a bunch of clout, but I think he's got some. I think he's got something to say. I think he's a part of who people listen to, and so I think he can persuade people in a way or to the left or to the right of a situation. And so him having John Gruden there really shocks me as far as being the top of his list, and that was kind of shocking to me. I know we had taken the break, but I just couldn't believe it. And I just don't know if John Gruden is just doing that for his own ability to stay relevant, because all of these jobs opened up, and you had LSU, you had Florida, you had Virginia Tech.
About a dozen.
You had all these jobs open, and yeah, people talked about him, but there was no sense that he was going anywhere. And okay, now you got possibly one of the top jobs in the country wide open, top 10 job. Got the Jordan brand as your logo. Where you at, John? You know what I mean? Like, don't talk about it. Don't say I want to coach football. Say what type of football do you want to? You want to coach flag football for women? Do you want to coach high school football? Do you want to coach NFL football? Like, tell us what kind of football you want to coach, John, because all these jobs are open in college. And yeah, you're saying, I want to get back to coaching again. I want to coach again, but you're not involved in anybody getting you to coach again.
Yeah, it's extremely weird that, every season I've heard that he puts out his fillers to all his major schools. Hey, I'm available. I'm still ready to coach, things like that. And like you said, there's been at least a dozen major schools with coaching opportunities. And you're right. His name gets thrown into every mix, at least once.
Yes.
Especially the bigger the school, the more his name is spoken. And, he does make it known that he wants to coach and wants to do this and do that. So, is there a program that he's looking for without saying it? Is there somewhere he is desiring to go that he has not made known? Because he's made known he wants to coach.
Yeah.
But how many opportunities have there been? I mean, none more than this year. So something like that tells me he either, one, doesn't truly want to coach, and this is a clout thing. This is a, hey, how can I stay relevant? Oh, let me just kind of throw my name into every coaching hire. Or maybe there is a school out there that he's specifically potentially waiting on, and then he will, hence throw himself at it and kind of give it all he's got. But it doesn't seem like he's putting much effort towards, maybe pushing for a school or something of that nature.
Yeah. Well, look at it on the Facebook page. Whoever you think, go ahead and place your vote right there on the Facebook page. We'll check it out later on in the show. Kalen DeBoer still in the lead for that around here, what everybody thinks. And if you have someone you want to write them in, and we'll definitely check back with that just a little bit later. I want to switch gears a little bit here and talk about some of this Notre Dame stuff that's going on. It kind of broke earlier today that there's a memorandum from Notre Dame, and basically Notre Dame is assured, and this is from Yahoo Sports, is assured of making the college football playoff if they are ranked in the top 12 starting next year. And number one, I didn't know that was something that you could do.
Yeah.
And then number two, now that it is out and in the open, the athletic directors of all the conferences are upset so much that they're considering not playing the Irish next year. So the plot thickens much more about Notre Dame not making the playoff. And look, if you're on the bandwagon of saying Notre Dame should have made the playoffs over Alabama, over Miami, over whoever, over JMU, over Tulane, fine. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about now you've signed a memorandum. Basically, you signed a contract, a deal.
Basically.
With college football, the NCAA saying that if we're ranked in the top 12, we automatically are going to get into the playoff. And that starts for the 2026 season. That, to me, is blowing my mind. I'm just appalled at that. And I can't believe that that's something that is even on the table. Like, win your games, be ranked, get selected, do the things that you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But to be in contract with the NCAA, number one, you're not in a conference.
No.
So number two, you're just going out here making your own little rules for your own little team that nobody else has that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so the part that, there's a part that surprises me and a part that doesn't. The part that doesn't surprise me is Notre Dame cried enough and whined enough to come up with a way in which they were able to get in while, while still getting their way. I don't know how to convey that other than they whined and they ended up, the crying baby gets the bottle, right? But what surprises me is that the NCAA or the playoff or whatever committee that acknowledged and accepted this memorandum allowed it. Mm-hmm. It's like, forget the other 100 plus, D1 schools. Let's, special treatment to Notre Dame. And that's exactly what that is. I completely agree with all the ADs. I think, commissioners like the Big Ten commissioner and Sankey, I think they need to not schedule Notre Dame. We talked about that with Jeff like 3 or 4 weeks ago when this whole thing come out. And we agreed that we thought that the major conference games should not schedule Notre Dame. It does blow my mind as well that they can be affiliated with the ACC in every other sport except for football. And all they would have had to do was be in the ACC this year, and
all that would be taken care of.
Yeah. Like everything handles itself. So their arrogance Their independence has caused them this fault. And for the NCAA, the playoff committee, the AP 25, whoever is this group that said, yeah, that sounds like a good deal, that's not going to upset anybody. It does blow my mind. And it's absolutely, the more we talk about it, the more absurd it actually kind of sounds.
It really is. I want to go to the Red 7Ts phone line. We got some text messages coming in. Jeff is listening, so he said he does know the name of the president, Wade Rouse. He was picked at the same time Kiffin was, so that's kind of easy for him. Wright State Chris says that as a Cincinnati football fan, you can take Scott Satterfield. He did okay at Louisville, and he did okay at Cincinnati. Michigan does not want him. So there you go. Mike Bird said there's no way Michigan can take or can hire John Gruden with all the rumors that surrounded him when he left the Raiders. That's a good point, Mike. And then Mike, also another Mike, different Mike, says Kirk Cincinnati could be the coach there. And it is Go Blue. And he doesn't say Roll Tide, so he didn't say it. He said, love the show. And he said that we're kicking butt, but he didn't use that word. So either way, I appreciate that, Mike, as well. So, yeah, we appreciate you with that. And so when we go back to looking at this Notre Dame issue, you know, they cried enough. They got what they wanted as far as for next year, it seems like. But they're going to have a hard time getting their schedule. And that's the deal. You want to take your ball home today? That's fine. But tomorrow, when we're out playing, I'm bringing my ball and so is my buddy. And when you show up, we're not going to throw the ball to you. We're going to keep the ball from you. And how these other schools can keep the ball from this Michigan or from this Notre Dame team is not schedule them. Do not schedule Notre Dame. It doesn't matter how much money they put in. If you really want to make a difference, don't schedule them. They don't have anybody to schedule. They're not in a conference. They can play UConn. UConn's not in a conference in football. They can just play UConn all year long. Just go home and away, home and away. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. You want to fix this? NCAA could fix this. They don't want to. The NCAA could fix all of this. They don't want to. They could say, you have to be in a conference to make the college football playable. Yeah, that's it. And that would solve the problem.
You can make all the bowl games you want to, but you cannot make the college football playoff.
Yeah, can't make the playoff. And that would solve it. That would make it, that would be the big boy in the room, see the problem on the floor, fix the problem, fix the leak, whatever it is. You won't have any more leaks if you'll fix the immediate problem. And the problem is Notre Dame's not in a conference. Everybody hates that anyway. It looks bad for Notre Dame anyway. They like to have their own deals. Fine. Whatever conference you go to, keep your TV contracts, keep all the stuff that you want. Go be a good negotiator, Notre Dame. Yeah. Figure it out. Go jump in the Pac-12. Go jump in the Big Ten, the ACC. Come on down to the SEC. Whatever you want, we'll take you.
They wouldn't dare.
No, but do not tell me you want some kind of special contract that allows you to get into the college football playoff as long as I keep playing these powder puff schools and then making it my schedule so easy and going 10-2.
Yeah, and the more teams that don't schedule them, the more of these powder puff games that they're going to have. Their strength of schedule is going to be, nil to none. I don't think the SEC in itself should play Notre Dame. I think with the 9 games we already have, our strength of schedules are already extremely weighted with the talent and everybody that we have to play in conference. We have 3 out-of-conference games. So the days of the SEC cupcake games are, they're kind of coming to an end. Even one of Tennessee's cupcake, well, not a cupcake. We play, I think there's Kennesaw State. One of our 3 non-conference games is Georgia Tech next year. Wow. They don't have Haynes King, but we still have to go to Georgia Tech and play them. It's a decent, reputable ACC school. So we have maybe 2 games that I can for sure look and say, well, those are guaranteed W's. Other than that, we have to fight our what's off and play actual football.
Nine-game schedule.
9-game SEC schedule.
Yeah.
I don't think the SEC should play them at all.
Look at what happened yesterday. I don't know if you saw this or not, but yesterday while we were talking to Jeff Brom, it come out. He's the head football coach at Louisville.
At Louisville, yeah.
Georgia and Louisville had scheduled to play one another, but they decided not to. So they canceled that. And they asked Kirby about it. And Kirby said, with a 9-game schedule, we just felt like it wasn't in the best interest of our team. And if you look at what he talks about, when they were playing Alabama in the SEC championship, he said, if you looked at both teams, you could see that we both were hurting. We both were injured. He said, you can look over there. The Alabama team we beat on Saturday was not the Alabama team we played earlier in the year because of injuries, because of the grind, because of these scheduled games that you have. And that's the deal, and everybody talks about it. But next year we move to a 9-game SEC schedule, and you better believe it. And I get it. You can say what you want. Big Ten always is the big one. Ohio State's always the big one. They got 2 or 3 schools in their whole conference, and they don't always play those schools.
Top heavy.
Right. And they play the Minnesotas and the Marylands and the Nebraskas and the Purdues of the world. And all of these schools that are down and are barely even winning 5 games a year. Yeah. But then you got an SEC schedule that you might play LSU, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas. That's 5 teams, Florida. And you say, well, Florida's not good yet, but they got athletes, and that's the difference. And Mississippi State, they got athletes. That's the difference. And so that's why this 9 SEC team schedule next year is going to be a big deal. So, yes, I want to play the Little Sisters of the Blind, and I want to play East Minnesota Technical School for, the shorts. Yeah, whatever. I just want to play somebody weak. I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to have any injuries. I want my second and third stringers to get to play, and that's how I want to do it. And so, anyway, I said all that to say Notre Dame needs to be in a conference.
Agreed.
And if they'll be in a conference, then if they win their conference, sure, put them in there, let them be in there.
Yeah, it's like they made their own way with this memorandum. And instead of joining a conference and, and creating their own way that way, and actually I feel like earning it, now they're able to, like you said, play, these inferior teams, lose 1 or 2 of the good games they actually play, be 10-2, and look, there's somehow the committee has them in the top 12, and then they automatically make it in with no other qualifiers. It does rub me the wrong way. The way we have to play football down here in the SEC, and then them just frolicking around in their independence, playing whoever they really want, it is frustrating to I think the football world in itself outside of Notre Dame.
And when you look at it, I would love for them to join the Big Ten. That would be perfect to me. I mean, they're up there already.
Yeah.
That would be the big fix. But that's the thing about them. They don't do that. They'll play Purdue's of the world. They've got USC. And the thing is that USC, now that since they're in the Big Ten, they shouldn't need to play Notre Dame anymore for clout. It's not a big deal for them to have Notre Dame on schedule.
No.
The Notre Dame USC game used to be a big deal because, USC was such a powerhouse at the time. And Notre Dame, they wasn't in a conference still, but they were a powerhouse. And so that was a big rivalry game at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well, USC has now moved on, and they're in the Big Ten. And they've got Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon. All of these teams now that they could possibly be on their schedule that's in their conference. So they don't need Notre Dame anymore. They don't need that money anymore, I wouldn't think. So realistically, when you look at it, USC could be the starter of all of this and say, you know what? Hey, Notre Dame, guess what? Bye-bye. It used to be good for us. We don't need you any longer. We're in a good conference. Why don't you come join the conference and make the Big Ten stronger? If Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, that immediately brings more clout, bigger, stronger conference for the Big Ten.
Yeah, them joining a conference, I think, is the start of like the two-conference league. I mean, the fact that, you do have the Big Ten and the SEC, the ACC, they struggled to get into the playoffs this year. I mean, you can see how that's going. The Pac-2. I mean, what other conferences do we actually have? You had the Big 12, which had to beg people to join them to even still have a conference. So it's going to be different trying to get them to join. I think they've gotten their way all these years by not joining. They know their route. They have an easy route. Why would they join? Because they have been babied to the end, and there's no reason for them to join a conference unless we don't schedule them or unless the NCAA says, hey, we are having a hard time, getting the criteria together to put you where you want to put. We're going to need you to join a conference or we can't do this based off your independence.
Yeah, and that's it. And we're going to leave it right there because we're going to take a next break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss some stuff that we heard just before coming on. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Your home for college football. ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the 126 Army versus Navy game, live from Baltimore, Maryland.
He might be in. Touchdown.
Navy is the current favorite and holds a 9-2 season record to Army's 6-5. Listen live starting Saturday at 1, kickoff at 2 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Loves one wide open touchdown.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Thursday. Clear tonight with a wind at 3 miles per hour coming out of the south and a low of 46. Tomorrow morning, look for a light breeze and sunshine with a temperature near 69. The afternoon and evening, a high around 70 and clear skies. Saturday, very warm with a high of 70 and mostly sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
It's Thursday. New Hard Rock Bet rewards are dropping.
Nice. Ed Reed, you in?
The only thing I drop is receivers and mics.
Ed, we're talking bonus bets, deposit matches, parlay insurance.
Oh, okay. I'll do that kind of drop.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Your put-downs, smackdowns, and shutdowns.
That's the difference between a winning football team and a losing football team.
It's a Trash Talk Thursday on the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you decided to join us today. Whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you listen on the radio or ESPN Northwest Florida app or YouTube, we appreciate it. We are here for you, and we appreciate you listening in. Our crazy poll going on right now. You can go to our Facebook page and see it. Who do you think is going to be the next coach at Michigan? Is it going to be Caleb DeBoer? Is it going to be John Gruden? Is it going to be Brian Kelly or Jesse Minter? I will tell you that now the Jesse Minter fans have come out and tied the score, but Brian Kelly has also gotten a vote here in the last 10 minutes. So there you go. If you want to vote, you can do that. Also, don't forget, if you want to call in, if you want to text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We will read those on here as well, because I just think that if something like that could happen, it could happen this year. So we talked about it, and I don't want to just beat it over the head because we have talked about it a bunch. But let's mention, if Caleb DeBoer was to take the job at Michigan after the playoff, what in the world would that do for another college football like we've never seen before? What could possibly happen after that? Because now, not only Michigan, LSU, Florida, Penn State, all be open. Now you got Alabama open? Like, what kind of world do we live in where all those schools have an opening at their school in the same year of college football? A lot of online chatter has been talking, and I can't believe it. But people are actually saying that if Kalen DeBoer leaves Alabama, that there could be a possibility that Lane Kiffin would just totally leave LSU and come on home to Tuscaloosa. Do you believe that?
You know, as a Tennessee fan, yeah, I do believe that. Are you kidding me? That man will pack up and leave in a heartbeat.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, a snake does bite, and he's been slithering around from school to school for the last 10, 15 years. So it wouldn't surprise me. The man has made decisions for his best interest before. He'll do it again, with no doubt about it. So, yeah, it would not surprise me if he packed up in the middle of the night and pulled a Tennessee on LSU, got there during the recruiting class. Kids are coming in. He's like, see ya. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me. No.
Yeah, middle of the night, like me moving out. Don't let the landlord see me.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That would be just the same deal. And, you know, everybody in LSU, I mean, I will say this. Ole Miss fans can't hold a candle to the toxicity of LSU fans.
No.
So they'll be throwing their beer bottles and their snuff cans all at the plane as it's pulling off if he heads to Tuscaloosa. That's for sure.
You couldn't imagine. You thought this whole drama situation has been dramatic now. Imagine if something like that were to happen. This place, this country, the football nation would just absolutely erupt.
You know what I would have to do? I would have to wake up, get my clothes on, get in my truck, and drive to Jeff's house and make sure he's okay.
Make sure you grab the Lane Kiffin crown while you're there.
Yes.
No, but that's the thing. Like, and I know this is extremely far-fetched, and we're probably, I'd say, at least, depending on how far Alabama makes it in the playoffs, we're at least a couple of weeks to a month away from even anything like this getting loud. I mean, we're speculating. We're hoping for a little bit of drama, but
no, I don't want drama.
Yeah, it's there, and it's in the writing is on the wall. It's not permanent, not yet, and it's all stuff based on the past that could potentially happen.
So yesterday when we were talking to Coach Jeff Brum on the phone, it was a very good interview. If you get a chance, go back and listen to it. It was at the 5 o'clock hour from yesterday's show. But when you listen to what he said, when I asked him, I was kind of asking him about the Penn State job that he was mentioned about.
Yeah.
And he made some very interesting statements. When he said to me, he said, Paul, it's about winning. It's about winning now. It's not about building for the future. It's not about establishing a good program. It's about winning right now. And if you look at it, when you look at all of these coach jobs being open this year, that's really what it's about. It's the fact that they needed someone to win now. You've got a proven record. We want you to come to our school to win now because our guy's not doing it. And as you saw, all these guys opened up and left where they were to go to that bigger school to promise. Well, you know what the thing about all of that is, Brandon, and this is the key. Everybody can't win.
No, there have to be.
John Summerall cannot go undefeated at Florida. Alex Golish can't go undefeated at Auburn. James Franklin can't go undefeated at Virginia Tech. Lane Kiffin can't go undefeated at LSU all at the same time. It just can't happen. Pete Golden can't go undefeated at Ole Miss. All at the same. Somebody's going to be disappointed in this cycle of coaches.
No doubt.
You know, and it's going to be, well, I thought you know, and the same thing's going to be said about every single coach that is hired. We're paying you all this money. Everybody's paying you all this money. Every team is paying you this money. We are living in a microwave society. We do not want to wait for anything. So why would you think I want to wait? You want my football team to wait on a national champion? Oh no, what? I want to win right now. We hired you to win. And that's the thing. Are we going to see this going forward more and more? Or will this year just be a unicorn and will be one of those things that we talk about? Hey, do you remember back in 2025 when all of the coaching jobs came available and this one and this one and this one and this one went over? You know, is that going to be what we say, or is this going to be the new normal going forward? Are we going to see the turnover every single year? Buyouts after buyout after buyout. That's the question.
I mean, where does that end? And the big note I got from, I listened to your Jeff Brom interview. That was a really, really good interview.
Thank you.
And with him saying that, you know, he's the coach of Louisville in Kentucky.
Yeah.
No offense, Coach Brom, but that's not an LSU. That's not a Florida. He is at Louisville saying, Paul, it's about winning.
It's got to win.
And he's at Louisville.
Yeah.
They're not going undefeated.
No.
They're not. And so think about that. I mean, with him saying that at the University of Louisville, if he thinks that there, you're darn right. They think that at LSU. They think that at Ole Miss. They think that at Florida. They think that at Auburn. They think that at Penn State. I mean, you can just keep going down the laundry list of teams. So it is about winning. And we've said it before. This is a win now. The patience with all the money being thrown around. You know, at players, at coaches, at staff, everybody expects an instant gratification of their dollar spent. And the sad thing is it's far and few in between. And I agree, there's going to be more disappointment than there is excitement during this coaching carousel. Not everybody is going to go undefeated. Not everybody is going to go 10-2. Not everybody is going to make the playoffs. There were more coaching changes this year than there are spots in the playoffs. I mean, so all these coaches cannot take their team to the playoffs. So there is going to be more disappointment than, you know, there is happiness with their coaching hires. So it has gone that way. It is an instant gratification type of league, and they want to win now with you going out and buying players and buying coaches. And now when I say they, fans, administration, boosters, donors, whatever, they're the ones that expect it. And I think the ones really pouring all the money into the universities, they're the ones expecting it because they're the ones paying the buyouts when it don't.
Yeah, I got a big question for both of you. Bone Crushers, I want to ask you first. I need to know who. I'll go to you first. Who is going to make the biggest turnaround for their program coming in as their new coach? Who's the first guy that's going to make the best? Who's going to have the best record? Who's going to have the best turnaround for their team being at a new school? Who do you think it's going to be?
I think the obvious answer is Lane Kiffin. He's been given everything and expected everything. So if he does not if he goes 8-4 that first year, I feel like the LSU fans think that's a failure. He just left a school that is inferior to them and got them to the playoffs. So I think that he is going to be given the opportunity to do that with the resources, the coaching, the fans, the players. I would assume he's got more talent than he had at Ole Miss. So, you know, I think that he is going to be the one that it's expected to have the biggest growth for his team.
Yeah.
You know, and whether he holds up to that or not, I don't know. I don't know what the patience is down there in LSU land.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I'm going to say it, and I just because I've seen the portal and I've seen the other deal with the people that are coming. Virginia Tech is going to play in the ACC championship next year, and I'm going to call it like it is. He's bringing just about every player that he recruited, every player that was starting, most all of his coaches. Yeah. Watch what I'm telling you. Virginia Tech is going to come in, and they're going to play in the ACC championship next year because you're going to have another year of down Clemson. Yeah. They don't have a quarterback coming back. Who's Miami going to
Carson Beck's going to leave at Miami.
That's right. Who is going to be the team? What's Florida State going to do? What is Virginia going to do? You know what I'm saying? Virginia Tech is poised. Watch what I'm telling you. Poised to be the ACC champion next year.
No, I agree with you. I have a guy I work with, Michael, and he's a Virginia Tech fan. And he follows all this. He comes into the office and he, talking about the recruiting class. He's like, man, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Hey, man, James Franklin's taking us from 120th to the top 50. I said, that's huge.
They're going to win.
I almost want to wholeheartedly agree with you. As far as ACC turnaround, I think Virginia Tech is going to be at the top. I mean, they're going to have more athletes. They're going to have better coaching. And with a wide open ACC, I believe that, James Franklin could potentially get that team to the top of his conference.
I believe that.
I do wholeheartedly believe that.
I think so. We're going to go ahead and go to the Red 17's phone line. We've got Mike from Southport on there. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, doing great. How you doing?
We're doing fantastic, my friend. What is going on with you?
Hey, not much. I know I text you and Dignetti. I'm not kidding about that either. Let him finish the year. Don't get him.
Wow.
He's great at Michigan. But I also have another name for you.
Okay.
If I can.
Yes.
What about going and stealing South Florida's Coach Hartline before he even starts? He's a Buckeye through and through. We get him to Michigan. Him and Day go at it like another 10-year war from the 70s. And because that dude can recruit. I can tell you right now, he won't be long for South Florida because he's going to get the players. But he would do great at Michigan.
Oh, wow. You know what? I would be so...
Michigan Eddie's probably having a heart attack. So.
Yeah, for sure. But I just, man, the hate. I lived in Columbus for a few years. The hate that Ohio State has for Michigan, if Brian Hartline were to do that, I think they would take his Ohio State card and take everything that his name is on off if he was to go to Michigan.
They did that to Bo, but at the end of the day, Woody loved Bo, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more just fun, but seriously, if they had to get somebody, all these trouble dudes that are non-proven dudes, Kurt Signetti would be a perfect one. And I realize he's in Indiana and he's doing the playoffs, but hey, they stole Lane Kiffin. He was in the playoffs too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's the guy. He ain't the kind of guy that's going to walk out on his beat self,
And Paul, Mike's right. I mean, Kurt Signetti is one of those coaches that actually come into a program and turned it around almost year one. The Signetti effect. I mean, so that's why, if you're Michigan and you don't make the call to Kurt Signetti, I think that is you're missing an opportunity. Now, does he leave? Kurt Signetti seems, from his interviews, seems like a man of integrity. It seems like, but how can you tell that from an online interview? He said he wanted to say he wants to build a program. They're paying him well. Players are coming to play for him, but Indiana isn't Michigan. I mean, it isn't.
Well, I would say this too, that you just straight up say, hey, we want you. We'll give you to the end of the playoffs and let you finish. But, you know what I mean? Because somebody's going to have to do that. If they don't start doing that, like Nick Saban said a couple weeks ago, he's like, move the signing day back to the late spring. He goes, get rid of spring ball, do OTAs like the NFL, and get ready for fall ball. He goes, then the coaches can finish their season without having to bail. Because I got to be honest, you got a guy on that list, that Kelly guy. That dude, I don't even know the guy, but when he bailed on Cincinnati that was undefeated to go to Notre Dame, the hell with that guy. I grew up in Wyoming, and I've never been to Michigan but once, but I'm a Michigan fan. They better not even call that dude. That's just ridiculous. But they better call Signetti. They got to make these guys say no. You're right. You said that. Make them tell you no,
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. We appreciate the call, my friend. Thanks for listening, and thank you for calling in. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. He's right. I mean, call him. What's the word? You know what I mean?
You're not doing your due diligence as a university if you don't call all the potential. And what sucks, man, is that all these schools the bigger schools, they just poach coaches. And at what point, like professional sports, a no trade clause, players want to have that security. Well, what about the darn university and the fan bases? What if they want some security? Where are the contracts to say, hey, this is a 5-year contract. We're paying you $10-12 million, sign the dotted line, but there is no talking, no tampering. There is no, you're not allowed to leave. We're going to work this contract out, and maybe have some clauses in there. But at what point, where does the university protect itself, protect its fan bases, and protect the young kids? That these kids, I would say over 50%, they don't come play for the university. They come play for a coach.
Yeah.
And, when the coaches are able to just up and leave, and usually would typically not much backlash, right? But a player up and leaves for their benefit, and it's like, man, he's a quitter. Nobody should want him. He quit on his team. What about the darn coaches? It just seems like they're able to do whatever they want. And, it just kind of make their own rules in essence.
Yeah. You know who don't make their own rules? AutoNation Ford in Panama City. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you need to go see those guys. They will take care of you. If it's a vehicle that you have seen online, they will find that vehicle for you and get it to you right here in Panama City. They're at 730 West 15th Street, right there by the railroad tracks. They can get you in the right vehicle. They got great deals going on right now. And just go see them right before Christmas. You want to look good right before you go see all your family. Roll up in that new Bronco and that new F-150 or that Super Duty or that big old Expedition. So either way, go see them over at AutoNation Ford, Panama City. Now, if their vehicle is messed up and is not looking very good, I think you know a little bit about helping them get it right.
Yeah, man, we can fix all that. We got a vehicle right now at Recommended Collision Center that it's just, it's a 2010. It's been around the sun a couple of times. Yeah. It's got about 15 years of some age on her. And, nothing they make at all lasts forever. So that paint, ever so often, it will start to crack, will start to peel, will start to fade, and it doesn't match the top. A lot of the times, it's your hood and your roof. They tend to fade out because they see the sun the most.
Yep.
So I got a lot of customers that come in and want hood and roof repaints, and we strip those down to the bare metal. We epoxy them only because we're in the state of Florida where the salt is prevalent, the weather is, and the UV rays is very violent.
Yeah.
So we epoxy the bare metal. We get that thing looking right again. So we can just do anything from cosmetic, stuff where it's just, sand and repaint and get that thing looking good. Or, if you bumped into it with your golf cart, your kid's throwing a baseball at the door, we handle all the body damage too. So anything from a small dent to a big crash, you can bring us your insurance claim, whether it be customer pay or whether you're proceeding through your insurance. You just come down and see us at 1329 Jinx Avenue, Panama City, Florida.
And they do a great job, by the way. And if you mention the show, you get a little bit of a discount.
Get a little bit of a discount, man. I'll change that labor rate a little bit, give you some complimentary diagnostic scans. How about some advice, man? I have people come in and say, hey, I just bought this new car at AutoNation Ford. What do you think? I said, man, look at this car. I said, it's never been touched. It's been perfect. It's never been worked on, because there are some telltales where you can tell a car's been worked on.
Yeah.
So, I have some friends and some family that'll come by and say, hey, I'm buying this car. I'm driving around the block. What do you think? So, we offer advice and don't charge for that. We're a family-owned business locally, and we just want to be able to take care and service also. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's exactly what you want when you're in the market for getting your vehicle fixed. Go see those guys. Make sure you do that. We got another sponsor that we want to announce today. Panama City Little League Spring 2026 season is officially open. This year's offering include for baseball and softball for boys and girls ages 4 to 12, along with a co-ed t-ball division for our youngest players. So registration is right now till January the 10th. The season dates is March the 7th through the 16th of 2026. So to register, you got to go to registration.bluesombrero.com/85161. We will put that on our website for you. We're going to be having some more stuff for that. So just so you know, we're going to be able to get them signed up. If you want to be, you want to sign your child up for these youth leagues, or say you want to be a volunteer or you want to coach, you can sign up there as well. So we'll set you up. Yeah. So that's right. If you want to go be a coach, here's your chance. Panama City Little League, it's awesome. They're going to have a great time. So we'll be sharing a lot more about that later on. So either way, when we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit of NFL news. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson right here at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. Mornings on ESPN Northwest Florida just got unsportsmanlike.
They're looking at the situation saying, if we can't play in this playoff, we've earned a spot in, why should we go and play in a bowl that is essentially meaningless? Bowl season used to be everything for college football. Now, if you're not in the playoff, it's like, oh yeah, I'll throw it on while I'm baking some muffins in the background. And I don't blame Notre Dame for trying to make a statement here.
Evan Canty and Michelle. Weekdays 5 to 7 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your NFL and college football headquarters is Dak Cajun Place. With 27 TVs, you won't miss a play or a game. Score 50-cent wings during live games every Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. 50-cent wings and $5 pitchers during live games only at Dak Cajun Place. LSU and Saints fans, wear your team colors and get free Jell-O shots when LSU or the Saints score. Plus brunch on Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2 with $3 mimosas. Game like a local at Dak Cajun Place.
Keep the adventure going this holiday season in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia during the Season of New Tradition sales event. Bill Bird Kia is now offering 0.9% APR for up to 60 months, plus $1,000 bonus cash on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 25 Kia Telluride. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Countdown to savings is going on now. Celebrate the season in style and drive away in a new Kia today. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or event-specific new 2025 Telluride with $1,705 per month per $1,000 financed at 60 months. Quantities limited. $1,000 APR bonus is applied as down payment and no cash value cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty.
Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 1/2/26.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. The new Sports Blitz.
Oh, yes!
Rants, hot takes, and huge reactions are incoming on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz right here on Trash Talk Thursday in CBC Construction Studio, Northwest Florida. We are excited. We're live and local right here. If you want to be a part of the show, you still can be. You can call in. You can text in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. Just want to tell you thank you for calling in. No matter where you're calling from, I mean, it's crazy the support we've been getting, and we appreciate it. Thanks so much for calling in and being a part of the show. We love to hear your ideas and what you think is important. You know what's important?
What's important, Paul?
Loving the game of football.
I agree.
If you're going to play the game of football, you need to love the game of football. And today, the interview came out of Joe Burrow. I didn't want to let this go.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow is now saying things that kind of tend to kind of say that he's not really enjoying himself anymore.
It kind of contradicted competition, winning. Like, no, how, if you're a Bengals, you know, in the organization, how do you pay the guy the money you're paying him if you honestly, you're not, I don't want to say he's not trying to go out there and win. Winning's important to everybody.
Well, they say he's doing really good this year. They say he's on the he's on an MVP type scenario, but his words, that's where I think you were going.
Yeah.
You're paying him all this money, but then he says he's not having fun.
Or he doesn't want to play unless he's having fun, or the expense of not having fun isn't worth playing.
Okay, well, give me the money back.
That's what I'm saying. How can you be so comfortable with that? With the leader of your locker room, just like, you know, if I'm not doing it for fun, I don't want to do it at all.
Is he saying it to the organization because they've done a terrible job at getting him line protection? Because he's been getting hit. You know, when you talk about, everybody always talked about how injury prone Tua was. And you know who gets left out of the conversation? Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow gets left out of the conversation, but Joe Burrow is hurt just as much. Yes, Alabama, Tua versus LSU. Joe Burrow is still in my veins. I still get aggravated about it because Tua was hurt when we played that greatest of all time team that everybody says that was LSU, and they were really good. But don't forget, Tua was hurt, dealing with an ankle injury, and we lost by 6 that year. I think we were the closest game to them anyway, we'll move on from that part of it. But Joe Burrow stays hurt a lot. Yes, his offensive line is not that great, but also sometimes he holds the ball, so sometimes it's not his offensive line. But either way, I just wanted to bring that part up about Joe Burrow saying that today. You know what solves a lot of the the having fun? Wins. If you win the game, that's where you have fun. I mean, nobody likes to lose. That's what I talk about. You know, a lot of times with little kids baseball, little kids football, or whatever, you know, people talk about having a good attitude and learning how to work through failure. Yeah, you learn how to walk through failure, but I've never met a person that likes to strike out and then they come back to the coach at the end and say, Coach, sign me up again. Can I go back up there and strike out? Absolutely not. Yeah. So let those emotions come out. Let them hurt enough that they don't want to consistently feel this way.
That's something I'm trying to teach a 7-year-old is how to lose. It's extremely frustrating to them. They want to win everything. And to them, if they don't win, they're not having fun. Yeah. So to lose is devastating.
So is that something to say that you're trying to teach this, but obviously Joe Burrow has not learned that at his age, because
he's been a winner.
If they were winning, he would be having fun. If you're winning, you're having fun.
Well, he plays for an organization that is notably been known for realistically not taking care of their players, whether that is contractually, whether that is, providing Joe Burrow with, protection up front or paying his weapons to where they're happy. Do you think he loved the debacle between T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? I mean, his two top production receivers not happy. You know how receivers are. If they're not happy, you're not getting production out of them. And so, I mean, I don't know what it is, but it seems that it sounds like he was deflated. Like he has just lost motivation. And that's just what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, and when you have that, he's the leader of your team. He's the leader of your locker room. He's the one you look to, that when the game's on the line, you want to play off of how his emotions or how he's feeling. And it doesn't look good for the Cincinnati Bengals going forward with him. People talk about they blame it on this, they blame it on that, but I don't know really who you blame it on. But I will say this, you're playing a kid's game. I don't see how you're not having fun.
Making
millions of dollars. You're on TV. People want to take pictures of you. People want to get you to sign their T-shirts, their jerseys, their footballs, whatever. Yeah. And it's amazing to me that you can't be having fun playing a kid's game, and that's what you do for a living.
Yeah, I've always said, and I never wish this, Joe Burrow has been, a fantasy quarterback of mine. I enjoy when he's at his best. He is fun to watch. But for the last year or so, I've said he is one big injury away from becoming the next Andrew Luck. He will work himself out of the league.
He's been mentioned as the next Andrew Luck. I mean, really, and that could...
And I think that plays a fact in his non-motivation.
You have to love it.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, you see all the things, and his temperament is a little bit different. He's a little strange. He dresses strange. Yeah. I know people say whatever they want about who or how or whatever these NFL guys do, but, it is a little bit of a different... he's a different cat. And so with that, I don't know. But either way, we're going to go ahead and go to the Red 17s line again. We've got Mike on the line. Mike, are you there, my friend?
Hey, Paul. How are you, my man?
Doing great, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. First up, loser. First up, caller.
Thank you so much.
What do you think about this Michigan firing today?
It's definitely going to hurt the program for sure.
What do you think about the Michigan firing?
Are you saying what do I think about the Michigan firing?
Yeah.
I just think that it definitely needed to happen, and that possibly they need to find somebody as quick as possible, because if they don't, the portal is going to open and there's going to be a bunch of people leaving the school, and they're going to have to start from ground one.
Well, then who do you think the coach should be? Because I'm hearing Brian Kelly. I'm hearing Jesse, what's that guy's name?
Minter. Jesse Minter.
Yeah, Jesse Minter. And then I'm hearing Brian Kelly. He was Notre Dame's head coach for a while.
Yeah, I think Brian Kelly, I know a lot of people don't like him or whatever, but I do think he's a big enough name. I think he could get some recruits there. I think he could keep some recruits. And I think going forward, he would be somebody that could steady the ship.
I agree with you, Paul. I'm a Michigan fan, but I'm also a big Florida State fan, too. And I follow your station when I can get it on 104.3. I like you guys' sports talk lineup. So you definitely got a fan.
All right. Well, I appreciate that so much. Yes, sir. Thanks for calling, Mike. We appreciate it. You know, he makes a good point. I mean, when you look at it, it's really they need to get somebody quick. Mm-hmm. I don't if they let it sit for a while and they let that portal open. Yeah. Now, obviously, they got to go play. And that's where it's going to be really sticky. It's going to but if they could possibly somehow, some way get a coach in the building within the next week and a half, 2 weeks, I think it's of the essence. I don't think you wait around. You got two steps. I know we talked a lot about this, but I do want to say this part. You got two steps. Yeah. You got steady the ship, or in which that person could be a bridge. Steady the ship, bridge, or wait and try to hit it big and know that if you miss, you could really cause havoc for your program for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Sharon Moore was that bridge, and it burned. I mean, they need a hire, and they need a hire quick. But I mean, if they don't, I mean, and kids leave, and I mean, does this bowl game with Texas still happen? I mean, it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, they'll play. I think so.
It's that spread's 6.5, but where does that go once it's all done? I mean, this is not the bowl game that they were when they scheduled this. Michigan had all their players and they had their head coach. They now don't, and Mike that called in. I mean, those are and like I said, it is sitting here saying I feel bad for a Michigan fan, but man, I could only imagine if that was my program. Where I'm at. I've gone through some rough times at Tennessee over the last 15, 20 years. So, I mean, I know, but I don't think that we've gone through something like that. I mean, it could happen to anybody, though. It could. It definitely could. And we've handed bags of McDonald's, with money in them. And, we've done some stuff like that, but something like this, man, it really puts a detriment to a program. And it just sucks to be a fan of something like that and to be associated because I know they're not proud of it.
Yeah. Well, can I just say this? This is 2025 college football season. It is the craziest football season we've ever seen in our entire life, especially when we're talking about the coaches more than we're actually talking about the playing of the game, which is nuts to me. I just can't believe it. And so that's the biggest thing for this whole season is that we've talked more about coaches than we have about anything else.
Agreed.
And we've talked about it more on this show today than we did anything else. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be right back here. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd.
Not everybody in life deserves to be at the grown-up table. And I don't have any interest about Tulane and James Madison, and I've never fallen for that nonsense. All I cared about, Miami got in over Notre Dame. And I've always been very pro-Notre Dame. But Notre Dame, stop whining.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Weekdays at 1.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida.